Imagine waking up in a house with people banging on the windows, and you have to gather all that you can and run for your life. Or imagine parachuting into a forest as an elite operative to go and contain a brain-controlling epidemic. Or finishing your shift as a welder to find that the city around you has been infected. You have to crawl through abandoned shopping centers filled with rotting, walking corpses, raiding military surplus stores for weapons, ammunition, and food. You have to do whatever you can to survive, and the feel of Project Zomboid's environment really reflects that. The game is incredibly desolate, at least currently, before the devs implement animals, but even after that, the game will be mostly empty. The only things around you are zombies, of course, and everything else, the physical things, buildings, cars, trees, that's it. Of course, there are things to loot in the buildings, but that's a simplification. At the base of it, everything in the game is just those few things. The gameplay loop of zombies being literally everywhere is because they base it after what would really happen as a zombie apocalypse, where it's other human beings, actual human beings, trying to escape and get caught out. It explains why zombies are in such weird locations and really adds to the immersion by creating all these small little stories. Alongside that, there are special zombies, whether it be preppers who have large backpacks, weapons, they're armored and they have like tools on them, or SWAT zombies who have riot shields and shotguns trying to fight off the outbreak, or military officers who have their pistols and their body armor on with radios and assault backpacks. You can fight car jams and crashes along major highways with corpses shot out of broken windshields from the crash, or zombies stuck underneath burned tires. You can find these special zombies being eaten by their undead comrades after they met an unfortunate fate, telling you these little stories. Occasionally, the outside world will drop in supplies via helicopter or do strafing runs with fighter aircrafts. It all builds up the immersion and the setting of the game, which is the setting being the 80s in Kentucky. There's no modern medicine. There's no modern armaments or tech. You have to rely on radios. You can't generate your own electricity unless you have a generator and gasoline. All the cars are old. They're not safe. The military has old equipment from Vietnam. The physical setting of Kentucky aids in this, like the whole environment, by making it so that all of the free space around you, all the preppers and whatnot, makes sense with the environment. Because it's so wide and open and it's that kind of state. That's just what happens there. There's the giant population center of Louisville, which is based on the actual city and is huge compared to every location in the game. It's full of zombies, making it incredibly dangerous, and the whole time you're there, it's basically a rush to evade every zombie, unless you have explosives or fire. Because if you don't, and you try to fight, it's basically a guarantee you're going to get overrun. It builds up the panic of your situation because your character needs to sleep, eat, and rest from all the running and killing you do, but the never-ending stream of zombies doesn't allow it. It greatly builds up the theme of the game, which is that you will die. Loading onto the game, it says, "This is how you died." Because you will die. There's no cure to the zombie infection other than removing your limb if you are lucky enough only to be bit there instead of ripped to pieces by a horde. You might eventually run out of food, or die of heat stroke, or pass out in the forest and bleed to death. Once you let your guard down, you're guaranteed a swift death. And this game shows this by making everything destructible. Every structure or barricade you create can be battered down, every building can be knocked down or burnt, every ceiling collapsed from an explosion. The zombies will hear you and come after you wherever you are and start battering you down, wasting your resources and time, which is valuable because you are going to die. You need every second you can get. Your character has realistic needs because they become physically exerted depending on whether or not they were physically fit before the apocalypse. Or maybe they have insomnia and you can never get a good night's rest, which makes you weaker during the day, causing you to slip up and get bit. The setting establishes this incredibly well with its sound design too. It's mostly silent other than the sounds of your actions and the zombies, but occasionally with moments of tension, when you're fighting a large horde or being jump scared by a zombie, the game will play energetic music that's also depressing and melancholic, and it uses drums to make a very distressing mood. Or when you get jump scared, like I said earlier, it'll make this terrifying sound. Everything in this game is crafted perfectly to fit its design theme of death, and you can feel it through the gameplay drawbacks and finely crafted environment. Even if you think you're safe, through the fog a zombie might sneak up on you, hit you in one of your unarmored spots and land a bite, and bam, everything you've built gone in an instant. That's the point. Humanity is over, and it's almost pointless for you to try and survive because everyone dies eventually, just some sooner than others. Thanks for watching my little video. I made this for a school project, but it was a good time and I hope to make more.